If you're someone that spends a lot of time, effort, and energy second guessing yourself, your decisions, your actions, past, present, and future, and you want to stop that so that you can move through life more freely, more peacefully, and happily, right? Then this video is for you. My name is Amanda, and I help you purify your mind and body so that you can follow your heart, so that you can speak your mind, and so that you can be more of you. So often we bend and mold to the world around us that we really lose sight of who we are. And that has very much been my journey up until a few years ago of constantly bending to be liked, to be loved, to be accepted, which led me to a place where I was lost. I didn't have any foresight into who I was. And as a result of that, I really had a hard time making decisions. I had a hard time knowing what I wanted. And when I did make decisions, I would really second guess myself, and I would overthink whether it was going to be the right thing for me, whether it was going to work out. And so hopefully this is something that I can help you with a little bit today, because it is something that takes a lot of mental energy. And if you think about the time that could be alleviated by just making a decision and moving with it, then that is ultimately the goal. The way that I see it, there's really one way to live up to your power and potential, and that is to follow your heart. And so you need to get really good at understanding what is going to be good for you and what is not. This is through developing your sense of self-trust, your inner awareness and connection to yourself, because ultimately you are the only one that is going to be able to make decisions that are for the best of you. If you don't develop this self-trust muscle where you can make decisions without second guessing yourself, then you might end up living a life that is meant for someone else. You might end up taking on the advice from the people around you and building a life that doesn't even feel like yours. Okay, this happened to me. I was studying to be a lawyer, believe it or not. And that was not the life that I wanted to live. I'm lucky that I had some sort of tipping point there where I knew that it wasn't going to be for me. The hours of reading and understanding this complex words and pages, and I couldn't do it. I loved it in school, but I knew that I had to make a choice that if I was to continue down the path of studying to be a lawyer, I would very likely end up in a law firm till 10 at night reading paperwork on paperwork on paperwork. I knew for myself that that was not the life that I wanted to live. And so I made a decision. I dropped out of uni. I went onto the portal, I scrolled down all the way till the dropout button, and I clicked it. That taught me a very powerful lesson in not asking for advice. Okay, that was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my personal career and life. My life would look very, very different now, and it was easier for me to tell people in my life after I had done it, right? This came down to really trusting myself and knowing that it wasn't going to be for me, because if I had led with second guessing my decision, I may have acted by asking advice from people around me. So I would have gone to my friends, my family, and asked, do you think this is the right thing? And I tell you that my father 100% would have discouraged me from withdrawing from uni. I know he wanted the best for me always, but he had very high expectations of what my life should look like. Being a doctor himself, I also have two siblings that are in the medical field, so there was expectations there for me to meet. And had I asked for advice, I wouldn't have dropped out for uni, likely, because I would have allowed their perspective to persuade my decision. And when I look back and reflect on my whole life where I had not trusted myself or second guessed myself in the decisions that I had made, I would always seek externally to me. I would find coaches or psychics or friends or family, and I would value their opinions higher than my own, right? What they thought was going to be a good choice for me. I can see the disconnect now between living a life that is for me versus what they perceive that should look like. I don't love the word should. I think that we should all live from alignment with ourselves, not what others think that we should or shouldn't do. And I still have inclination to do this and to seek opinions from outside of myself, and I have to pull myself into line, because I remind myself that every time that I am asking for another person's perspective, opinion, or thought about something that involves me and my life choices and the direction that I'm going, it's that I'm giving my power away if I'm letting it influence me. There's of course a difference between seeking advice to make an informed decision versus seeking advice to make a decision that is acceptable with the crowd, that people will be okay with, that will be considered the right thing. I am compassionate because this is something that I have struggled with before. The way that I would suggest moving through this is like actually looking for where it started. Perhaps when you were younger, you were shamed for making a wrong decision. Okay, it's a common experience and it happens for a lot of us. And then that embeds in our subconscious mind that it's not safe to make our own decisions, right? We need external forces to help us make those decisions. So there's two ways that you can do this. There's always a holistic approach to everything that you're trying to achieve. And if you're trying to achieve, or if you're trying to stop second guessing yourself, then number one, I would recommend like finding the cause, like really sitting with yourself and understanding why is it that you second guess yourself. A beautiful process for this is just asking yourself why 5 times. There's debate, it can be 7 times, but just sit with yourself. And it's like, why do I second guess myself? Why? Get an answer, why? And dig down. And once you find the root cause, once you have awareness of that, then you can ultimately start to shift it and redefine your views on this. And when you start to redefine how you think and feel, that's when you gain back your power and unlock your full potential. The second way that you're going to build this self-trust muscle and stop second guessing yourself is making decisions without asking advice or opinions. Really push yourself. So number one, you can start on quite a small scale and do like really little minute decisions just to build a bit more confidence. But you could also look at if there's changes that you've wanted to make. Like I encourage you to make that decision without consulting other people. There's a saying that it's often easier to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And I do find in this sense that that can be true. Okay, so look for something that you've been wanting to change that you might think that other people would judge you for or look at you differently for or not agree with, and make the decision to do it. If you know in your heart of hearts that it's for you, then take your power back and make that decision for the sake of you, for creating the life that you want to live, right? This is ultimately your life and you get one go at it. So there's no harm in doing something, obviously making sure it doesn't harm other people. You can deal with people's opinions and advice afterwards once you've already made that move, because if you take on board people's opinions and advice before you have made the decision, then it's likely that you might convince yourself out of the decision. The more that you train this muscle of taking action without asking people's advice, the more that you're going to step out of this chameleon mode of bending and molding and trying to conform to the likes of others, and you're going to step more into being carefree, right? Carefree in knowing that it's your life and that you can stand tall and confident and make your own decisions because you ultimately trust yourself and you love yourself and respect yourself enough to create that reality for you, to care less what other people think. I think is such a critical one, and for so long that was what had plagued me. I really did care what other people had thought, and so unpacking this and rewiring the beliefs around like what would happen or what is the worst that could happen if people were to think differently of you or to think poorly of you. Does it really affect you at all? And so ultimately this is the goal, is to become more carefree in that you are so self-assured and so self-confident in yourself that you're able to move freely without allowing other people's perspective or opinions to influence you at all. This is your life. And I will say it again and again, it's like your life is only yours. No one else can influence. No one else knows what is best for you. And the more that you learn to slow down, number one is really, really important. Listen to your heart, then follow your heart and speak what's on your mind. Like be expressive, be you. The more that you learn to do that and go down that route of like, I want to live for me and not for other people, the happier you're going to be, the more peaceful you're going to be, the more free you're going to be, the more carefree, right, that you're going to be. And so I want this for you. I hope this video has helped you to just act more in alignment with what you know is right for you, to be more confident in your choices and to know where to look to start deprogramming this out of yourself so that you can live more you, that you can live happier and you can create the life that ultimately you want to live. If you have any comments or feedback, I would love to hear it, so please drop that below.